All right, we are back for Roundtable Ravens episode number 11. We have had so much to say about the Ravens, and
Getting up there.
that is not going to stop this week. We have
Mm-mm.
a lot more to discuss. Jumping right in, we are getting to the point where free agency is nearly starting. We are less than a month away. Tampering begins March 9th, as we just discussed on our other pod, and then the league year begins officially on March 11th. The Ravens have a lot of work to do in terms of their own players, as well
Yep.
as bolstering the roster for the 2026 season, the first year under Jesse Minter, Anthony Weaver, Declan Doyle, and all those great new additions to the coaching staff. That being said, there are quite a few pending free agents that we need to discuss.
It's brutal this year.
It is very
It's
brutal.
brutal.
At the very top of the list, who's been coming in usually in the top five and or top 10 rankings of available free agents, is center Tyler Linderbaum.
Keep your hands off him. Okay?
Yeah,
That's a
he
message around the league. Bye-bye.
I do not foresee that they are going to be not giving him a contract. I fully believe that Tyler Linderbaum is here to stay.
Hmm.
He needs a sizable contract to stay, but I do believe he's going to be the next one on the list. So looking at Sport Track, they rank his average salary to be in somewhere in the 17.7 million range. They believe that his market value is 4 years, $70 million deal at that 17.7 range. I mean, so that's kind of what the Ravens could be looking at. He played all 17 games. He only allowed 0.06 sacks per game. Um, this is their ranking. He QB hurries allowed 1.06 per game, which is clearly not the greatest, but still, he is a fantastic center, a fantastic offensive lineman, and not one I think they're going to let walk.
I think it would just be a terrible decision. Like the offensive line is already something that's a mess. It needs to be organized. We saw how it was just crumbling last season and it really put a lot of pressure on Lamar. We need that guy at the center who has been there. He knows Lamar trusts him. They have a great relationship. I will be devastated as a Ravens fan if I see Tyler Linderbaum in any other uniform next season.
Yeah, I just don't foresee that happening. Per PFF, he has an overall grade of 80.3, making him the fifth best center in the league out of 40 qualified centers. His pass block grade did suffer a little bit, 63.4, which is 22nd, but his run block grade was huge, 83.7, fourth out of those 40 centers. He is
Yeah,
instrumental in, as you just said, protecting Lamar Jackson, but even more instrumental at setting up those run lanes for Derrick Henry. So
absolutely.
I don't believe that this is a free agent that the Ravens are going to let walk by any stretch of the imagination. I
No.
think they're going to give him a pretty big deal. I don't know that they're not going to go above that 17 million per season. We'll see what happens, but I firmly believe that he's next on the list to be given that extension.
Yeah. And I think that, I hope that he decides that he wants to be in Baltimore. And even if he does receive contract offers elsewhere, he knows what we're building here is special. He knows how the team treats him. Hopefully he likes it. Hopefully he wants to stay. It's a two-way street. We can all say, oh, we want to keep him, but does he want to stay? Like, I think he does. I think he would want to, he knows hopefully with Minter in town, things could be looking up and looking closer to a Super Bowl. So, why not stay and see out what you started? This is my pitch to Tyler Linderbaum. Please stay in Baltimore.
Yeah, another offensive lineman who is ending his rookie contract, Daniel Falale is
Enjoy New
also.
York.
Wow, you want him to go away?
Look, I feel very bad for Daniel Falele. I went to the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
Every game they do alternate defense, offense as the people who get introduced. Daniel Falele got booed
Mm.
during for his mental health. I want him to go somewhere else. It's
Wow.
not good to have him running out of the tunnel. He's the only guy getting booed. Like, I'm sorry. And he has he's a Pro Bowl tackle guard, like,
Guard. Yeah.
guard, yeah. So let him go, restore his mental health. elsewhere. Enjoy New York with John Harbaugh is my personal opinion on that.
Well, to add to that, so again, per PFF, because we just like looking at PFF rankings. So his overall grade was 56.8, which is 55th out of 81 of qualified guards. His
So good enough for Lamar Jackson.
pass block grade 60.1, 53rd ranked, and then run block grade 53.5, which is 63rd ranked. So his overall a grade of 56.8, 55th. Yeah, the Sport Track says that he should be getting something in the realm of a 2 year, potentially 10 million per 10.5 million, about 21 million total contract from whoever decides to give him a contract. Clearly, you heard it here. Billy does not want that to happen. You'd rather he goes elsewhere.
That's my personal belief. I think he's run his course in Baltimore. I think, Baltimore hasn't been very kind to him last season. He's the guy that gets called out all the time. He's the guy that I just feel like I'm starting to feel bad for him, and I'd like him to have a new chapter in another team, personally.
I mean,
But then we got
hey,
to fill the hole. Then we have to fill the hole, And I think the offensive line is really a big focus for us this offseason,
mm,
as well as pass rush, obviously, and the issues there. I just don't think he is up to the job, personally.
there you go. Yeah, maybe a change of scenery, a different situation would bolster his career a little bit.
Hmm.
But
John Harbaugh believes in him greatly. He wouldn't switch him out. We had Ben Cleveland sitting there. He refused to bring him in. So, he believes in him. So I would like him to go and enjoy his time in New York.
there
Thank you for
you
your service, Daniel Falele.
there you go. That's another one off of our list. Moving right along, which I think is probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We'll just move to this guy first because he's also in
Okay.
line through his rookie contract. We'll just talk about Isaiah Likely. So, Isaiah Likely. He's been there. He's been kind of productive. He hasn't been productive. I don't kind of know where you go with this one. He's making $1 million right now, and the market says he should be making around eight-ish. I
Yeah.
don't know that the Ravens are going to want to give him a multi-year deal just simply because he's been too inconsistent, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know where they go with this one.
Do we swear on this podcast? Is that allowed?
Go for it.
Isaiah Likely to me is known as Isaiah fuck you bitch likely because when we lost to the Chiefs, I can't remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago, he walked out the tunnel and the Chiefs fans were heckling him and he went fuck you bitch to one of the fans. To me, that's a Ravens attitude. That's what it means to play like a Raven, to play fierce, to play brutal. When he lost just by the toe, situ.
Mhm.
Yeah, I I'm team keep Likely in Baltimore if we can. I think he embodies what it means to play like a Raven. That's a very serious thing in Baltimore. I think choosing to sign Mark Andrews kind of told me what I needed to know about that. I think Likely can get paid elsewhere. There are teams that need him. He's really good when he's great. Him and Lamar have great chemistry. I I would love to have him back. Can I see them being able to live up to another team's offer? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so he could be a prime candidate for the franchise tag. The Ravens could go
Yeah.
that route, in which case I would pay him about 15 million for the 2026 season, which I think is more than his value at this point. But then again, they could offer him a 1 year, $12 million ish prove it deal.
Hmm.
This is all dependent on if he doesn't get something bigger elsewhere,
Yeah.
because obviously, as we know, players will go where the money is. I'm not saying that that's every player. I'm not saying there's a knock against Isaiah Likely because, as you just said, I firmly believe he does have that Baltimore Ravens blood in his veins.
Yeah.
But if someone's offering you 10 million for a 3 year deal, you're getting a 30 million deal. You're not saying no to that. You're going, and
Mm.
especially if it's a contender, a fellow contender. So I don't know. I think you're right. I don't know that anybody is not going to be able to steal him away. But I also don't believe that the Ravens are going to offer him a multi-year deal. Something in the range of like maybe they do, maybe they offer him like a 3 year, 8 million, 24 million type deal. But I don't see that really happening. I think more than anything, they're probably going to try to franchise tag him and then see what happens.
I'd really like to see him back next season. I think for me, the inconsistency thing I don't necessarily think is his fault. I think it's more just he's not been targeted
Yeah.
as much as but there was a season when Mark Andrews was out, Likely was that guy. He was Lamar's go-to. He was a steady pair of hands. I think obviously we had the issue with the, in my opinion, touchdown that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah.
There are things that you can sit there and call him out for, but I think he's very reliable. I don't want to shake up the offense too much. We have the targets. We've got Mark Andrews, we've got Likely.
Mhm.
Hopkins, obviously, also on this list of free agents. So we don't know what's going to happen there. My preference is he comes back. But like you said, I think the franchise tag makes sense personally.
Yeah. I
But there's
mean,
another guy on here that I would use it for if he doesn't want to sign.
okay. But yeah, real quick, just to wrap this one up on Likely, he had over 400 yards the last 2 seasons, 6 touchdowns 2024, five in 2023. Obviously, was starting to become more of a target for Lamar Jackson. This past season, Lamar was hurt, so we could account for that too. Maybe it's not Likely that had that production dip. Maybe it was just so much the overall performance of the team and
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson being out because I don't think Tyler Huntley had that same chemistry with Isaiah Likely as Lamar does. So you can take those into account. But again, like if anything, maybe they offer him that 1 year prove it deal at like 12 million or whatever they franchise tag him. Moving right along, I don't know that this is the person that you're going to be talking about, but I think it's one of the most interesting of the list who that may or may not get a contract from the Ravens, and that's defensive end Draymond Jones.
Not my guy, not my guy. I don't think so. I'm not bad if he goes. I think he had a good time in Tennessee. I don't necessarily know that he did. But to be honest, no one on the defense this year had a great season. I don't really know that it was his fault. So if he wants to come back, not going to cost us a lot of money, that's fine. I think that there's other places that we can be. And like you said, and like we've just said multiple times, we've spoken about them looking for high ticket players. If it costs us Draymond Jones, I'm not mad about it personally.
Yeah, I mean, he got 7.5 sacks between the Tennessee Titans and the Ravens. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
still a decent amount of production. They got he's should be making anywhere from 8 to 10 ish million. Maybe the Ravens offer him like a kind of like 2 year deal, $20 million deal, get him there, keep him there. But in my opinion, if you are going after those big ticket items and it's going to be a pass rusher, I would rather that money be spent on someone like a Max Crosby or somebody like a Trey Hendrickson. I don't think you waste that money on Draymond Jones, so to speak, unless, of course, you are not bringing back Kyle Van Noy, then sure. Because
Yeah.
Draymond Jones, in my opinion, is a better version of Kyle Van Noy ish. Obviously, Kyle Van Noy is a leader. Kyle Van Noy is a wonderful veteran. I like him. This is nothing against him, but I just think like if you're gonna go in on somebody that's a little bit more productive, I think you kind of see what you have with Draymond Jones. You bring in that better pass rusher, and then there you go. But that's just my opinion.
We've spoken about it. Madubuike, we don't know what the situation is there.
Yeah.
Carl Van Noy, don't know what the situation is there. Was very candid about not being offered anything just yet. Um, Personally, I like Carl Van Noy. Personally, just from my experience, I think when he gets going, he really gets going. I think that his steadiness, I think he's been there. He's a rock. He knows how to get through. Draymond Jones, of course, probably just the same, but I think KVN's been around longer, knows the building a little bit better, knows the vibe a little bit more. And with so many changes, and especially on defense too, like I don't think we need to mess around with chemistry too much. I'd prefer to have Carl Van Noy back if we
Yeah.
can only have one.
If you all get, yeah, I mean, obviously, as we stated before on previous episodes, that Kyle Van Noy does benefit from having somebody there to take the looks off of him, and vice
Yeah.
versa for him being able to assist. And he's a great veteran. You probably don't have to pay him much. You probably pay him not, I wouldn't say the vet minimum, but I would say you give him like something around 3-ish million.
Yeah.
Give him 1 more year and see what happens. And then obviously if you get Matabuke back, then that's great. But also regardless of who you bring in, you got to address the pass rusher in a big way. Save that money on let Draymond Jones walk, save that money and give it to somebody else, and then keep Kyle Van Noy in on a smaller deal. You're saving on the
Maybe I'm
cap.
being too harsh on Draymond Jones. Look, we had a bad season on defense. We know that that's no secret. it could maybe not be his fault. It could just be a thing didn't fit into the scheme, needs a new guy to kind of steer the ship for him, and he may fly the same way that he kind of did towards the end of his time in Tennessee. So if he comes back, I'm not mad, but I do think that I need to see a little bit more to be proven. But that's across the defense in general last season.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that Carl Hamilton's great. I know that Carl Van Noy can be great. I know that all these people around the defense can be great. But for him, he just came in on a bum year, so maybe he's not shown me what he can do just yet.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so who are you thinking about for the franchise tag? I don't think I mentioned them, did I?
No, see, for
Oh,
me, it's Pat Ricard.
okay.
But he's a humble guy and he loves being in Baltimore and he loves working alongside Lamar Jackson. So I don't really think he's going to be digging too deep into Eric DeCosta's pocket. So I don't see us needing to do it. But he is incredibly productive and super necessary for the run game. So I need him in Baltimore next year.
I didn't even really think of Pat Ricard, but I don't think they would franchise tag Pat Ricard simply because you don't really have to give him a big
No,
contract. I think you give him like a 4 or 5 million dollar deal, and you keep him in house
that's what I'm
again.
saying. I'm saying unless he's absolutely like, I'm going out the door, which is, I don't
Yeah.
think he will. That's the guy I want back in the building next season. Of all these guys, the people I look at, and Tyler Linderbaum, I just think that they're necessary for that run game, and that is our biggest asset when it's in its prime.
Yeah, and as we spoke about the need, or rather the value of having a fullback on the roster, and I just think it helps in multiple ways. So I would be very shocked if the Ravens were to move on from Pat Ricard or allow him to go anywhere else.
Yeah,
I think it was kind of a similar situation with Kyle Kushek with the Niners. Like he was on his way out, and they were like, no,
yeah.
and they gave him like a multi-year deal. They're like,
They're
what?
like, get him
No.
back in the building,
Yeah, they're like,
please.
what is happening? Another interesting one potentially. I don't know how you feel about him, but Lohi Gilman. Um,
Yeah.
he's one to look at.
Hmm.
He's due another deal as well. He came over from the Chargers. He had some injury issues, but he did pretty decently in my opinion.
Yeah,
He
I mean, for a defense that wasn't doing so great, he was showing up when needed. I think there was a couple of mess ups, but nothing too key. I would like to see him back if, it's not going to cost us a lot.
Yeah, 64.3 completion percentage, 114.5 passer rating, and 2 touchdowns given up. That's not great to opposing quarterbacks, but that's not really a terrible completion percentage, so to speak.
Hmm.
Obviously, he needs he needs to up those coverage skills a little bit more, but I felt like he did decently enough that he could be awarded another smaller contract with the Ravens and keep him building. Um, we'll see. There's multiple others that we probably don't need to really go in depth about, so we're just going to skip right over all that. But I mean, the top ones are there. Mainly Tyler Linderbaum. If the Ravens do not keep Tyler Linderbaum, I don't know what the
Yeah,
hell they're doing.
no, that's just another massive hole that you're just creating another problem that you don't need to create. Just pay him. Just give him what he wants.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Speaking of the defense, this is officially official now. Anthony Weaver
Hmm.
has been named the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. He's back. We
Yeah,
talked about this. It was already reported, but the Ravens made it official, and Jesse Minter made it official, announced it himself. Again, we talked about this. Huge pickup, in my opinion. I'm very sad that he's no longer with the Miami Dolphins. I think he's a wonderful coach. I think he's going to do absolutely great things back being in the building for the Ravens. He knows what it takes to be a Baltimore Raven. So, yeah,
yeah. No, I'm glad he's back. I'm glad that he is giving us another shot after letting him walk out the building the first time. Um, you know, obviously he was getting an upgrade over in Miami, but he's come back home where rings are on the horizon and they're not in
how
Miami.
dare you?
Hey,
How
not this year. You
dare
said it
you?
yourself. Not this year.
No, there's no
Maybe
way.
next year.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I would be floored if we have a winning record in 2026. Anyway, um, yeah,
But,
so
he's come home and I think it's good. He's going to be under Minter, who said he's going to be calling plays on defense. I think it gives him a buffer year to figure out he's likely going to be picked up again on head coaching opportunities next year. So we want to get the best out of him while we can, and I'm sure he'll be snapped up again next year by someone for an upgrade job.
Yeah, definitely. It's only a matter of time until he becomes a head coach. But huge pickup to join Jesse Minter's staff. Like we brought up before, Declan Doyle's there. You got Anthony Weaver, two very, very respected, strong-minded coaches offensively and defensively. But that leads right into free agency here. We keep talking about it with the free agents in-house, but that being said, what will be the focus for Eric DeCosta? Will he make multiple moves, or are we looking at a kind of more focused attack on the defense side of the ball, especially when it comes to the pass rush and the secondary? In my opinion, you have to go pass rush. I keep bringing this
Yep,
up. I'm saying, I'm speaking it into the universe. If they cannot get Max Crosby, you go get Trey Hendrickson.
100%. Take either one of you want to come over, you're welcome.
Either one. I mean, there's others. Let's see. Let's see if my computer likes to work. Let's see. Who do we got? Who do we got? I know we briefly touched on this before, but I will bring it up again. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're gonna go the older route, but proven veteran, maybe you go Khalil Mack. I wouldn't imagine that the Chargers would
Hmm.
allow him to walk, but at the same time, if the Ravens can pull him over for a 1 year deal, I would say do it because Khalil Mack, much like Kyle Van Noy, has shown that he has not really lost much to his motor. He may be 34, 35 years old. He's almost 35 years old, but he's still a fantastic pass rusher.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of business with Los Angeles, so
There you go. And then Odafe away, same thing. Chargers.
yeah, he can come
He,
home.
he
I'll take Owe back. I don't think that he's gonna like have how it ended, and I don't think he's gonna. I think don't think he had very nice things to say when he
no,
left.
no.
I'm not sure he wants to come home, but he might do without. None of his coaches are left in the building anymore, so
Maybe. New start for both sides. Quiddy Pay from the Colts is available, will be available. Joey Bosa, I'm a little bit more hesitant on that one because of his injury issues. Malcolm Kuntz, Draymond Jones. There are multiple guys out there, but I think if you are um, Eric DeCosta and you want to make a statement, you want this era of defensive Ravens football to mean something right out of the gate, you go get Trey Hendrickson. Absolutely go get Trey Hendrickson.
yeah, or
He was
Crosby.
hurt. He was hurt, but he hurt in 2025. But he's clearly not going to be going back to the Cincinnati Bengals unless they offer him a ridiculous contract, which I don't think they will because, as we
They're
know,
allergic to ridiculous contracts.
yeah, they are a very cheap organization. They do not pay their players, unless, of course, it's giving all the money to their wide receivers, and then you have none for Trey Hendrickson. But
They're like, please, you're our only hope, Jason. Make us
yeah,
stay in the building.
but apart from the 7 games, the injury issues that Trey Hendrickson had, he had 17.5 sacks in 2024, same in 2023, 8 sacks in 2022, 14 in 2021, 13.5 in 2020. The dude is a beast. He's an
Yeah.
absolute beast. He's an absolute game-changing pass rusher. Had his career wasted, in my opinion, with the
Hmm.
Bengals. So you go to somebody who's going to have an immediate impact, and you do that with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as we see him 2 times a year, he's familiar with our organization. He's familiar with the North. He's familiar with all those teams. I think it's a good move to have someone come in from the same division to kind of just, slot right in and know what's going on. He's always caused a problem for us whenever we play against him, so I would like him on the other side. He's welcome over here. Sure. Eric DeCosta, open that purse.
Definitely. The other thing here, the other aspect that I think that is maybe not talked about as much is the wide receiver department. I feel like the Ravens need to
Mm.
do a lot of work there, but I don't know that they're going to do that in free agency as opposed
Mm.
to them potentially focusing on that in on the draft.
Yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers was our first Pro Bowl receiver that we drafted.
That's
So,
crazy.
that shows that this is just not one of our fortes of finding people. I remember when Harbaugh left to go to New York, he actually said he wanted Puka Nacua,
Mm,
and we ended up drafting someone else. So, that's just not something that we are known for doing. We're not known for picking up great. excellent receivers. Yeah, it's a question every year. I think we have just enough for it to work. I know Rashad Bateman's got a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if you saw the hacking thing
Yeah.
where he pretended to be hacked and said some stuff about us. So, it's dwindling. That position is dwindling. We've always had Zay and then some other guy who kind of just comes in off the bus stop and just joins us. Um, yeah, I can see why that's something that we should be looking at.
I mean, yeah, but you can't keep focusing on the guy from the street coming in and helping, because there's a
And we
severe
don't use him.
yeah, there's a
He
severe
comes
drop
in and
off.
just does nothing.
Yeah, so Zay Flowers, 1,211 yards. You had Mark Andrews at 422, and then D Hop at 330. Isaiah Likely at 307. Rashad Bateman at 224. Yeah,
And Hop was clutch every time, so I don't know why we decided
I,
again, scheming issue, coaching issue, I don't know, but yeah.
yeah, maybe all of that changes. Maybe all of that goes a different route here with Declan Doyle running the offense now. I don't know, but I feel like that is a point of emphasis. I just don't know. Like DeCosta said they were going to go after big ticket items. They were going to go against the grain of what they usually do, which is to go after big name players in free agency. But we don't know to what degree. Is it only going to be one big player like a Trey Hendrickson, or is it going to be multiple players? Are
Yeah.
they going to be very busy, or are they just going to do that one big move and then call it a day? We don't really know. But there's a lot of roster holes that you need to fix. Wide receiver, as I brought up, we've been bringing up pass rush for multiple weeks. We're going to continue bringing that up. Cornerback, the secondary, you need to fix that aspect of it too. It wasn't the best. It wasn't what it should be. But again, we don't know what the defense is going to look like scheme wise, like as you just brought up with Jesse Minter and everybody else on that side of the ball, Anthony Weaver. We don't know, but
Mhm.
um, you know. I'll say this going back to the Field Yates mock draft at number 14 overall, where the Ravens are picking in the first round. He has them going Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver from USC. So pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think we fill the hole in free agency on one side of the ball and then draft on the other side of the ball. And that's how I foresee things going. We've got holes everywhere. Offensive line needs to be looked at. Wide receiver, it never hurts to have more options for Lamar. Running back, we're good. Don't need to think about that. Don't
No.
worry about that. Yeah. So there's lots of it's about elevating. It's about just making sure that everything is kind of working in tandem. That I think that we're solid, but there's you can always improve on every
Yeah,
part of the ball.
definitely. So 2025, Mekhi Lemon, 1,156 yards, 11 touchdowns. He was third overall in the FBS with 96.3 yards per game. So huge pass catching weapon that is desperately needed. Maybe you go that route. Maybe you bring in another veteran that could potentially, join in. I don't know that they keep D Hop. I don't know. There's a lot of variables here that you have to look at in terms of the roster, and we don't quite know exactly what is going to happen with what Eric DeCosta said, as well as the coaching staff now in place. We don't know, is Jesse Minter going to have more of a say in who gets drafted, and also is he going to? I mean, obviously he's a defensive-minded coach, so you wouldn't imagine he's going to be like chipping
Wanting to
in,
stack up.
yeah, on the offensive side of the ball. But Declan Doyle is there, so like, who's saying what's going to happen? But you need some big players there. Um, you know,
I
but you
remember last time we picked at 14, we picked Carl Hamilton.
there you go.
So if that's a lucky number, and also I remember last time I was in Baltimore for the draft, I intend to be in Baltimore for the draft again this year. We picked up Zay Flowers. So maybe I'm going to be bringing the wide receiver energy and we'll find us something for receiver
There you go. I mean, but you can't do anything without one of the major components of the offseason, which is a Lamar Jackson extension. So
contract. Yep.
still, there are rumors. People are still banging the drum on for some reason Lamar Jackson getting traded. These are ridiculous. They've been ridiculous. Obviously,
They can shut up the whole organization if that man walks out the door. There's no point. Just close it down.
yeah, the Ravens. I feel made a point of they made it a point to say we're picking Lamar over John Harbaugh by firing John Harbaugh and saying this is not
100%.
good enough. I don't think that Steve Bisciotti would go out and say that he's going to be part of the head coach search and his opinion matters if they weren't planning on keeping Lamar. Both Bisciotti and DeCosta did say that they would be working on an extension before March, February 11th right now. You need to get that train moving.
Hmm.
Reports have indicated they are already getting that train moving. We will see how fast or whatever happens, but you need to get that contract situated because he's owed like 70 something million right now. Obviously, that's not a number that they're going to be willing to pay. So you have to lower that number with the new extension. What kind of extension? How much is he going to get paid annually? I don't know. It's going to be a ridiculous amount, I would imagine. But people stop saying that he's going to get traded. He's not going to get traded.
Stop saying it's a stupid thing to say. What planet are you living on? Not, I don't know. We're not on Earth if we're saying that.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that the Ravens are trading Lamar. They're going to give him a nice extension. They're going to keep him in house. They're going to keep him here for at least, I would say, in the next 4 or 5 years. That's what I would imagine the next
Longer,
contract.
I think a Raven for life, unless he gets pissed off, if something, if he gets tired of what's going on in the building, I think that's the only way Lamar's leaving is that he means too much to the city. Like he knows and he places value on that. He places value on what he means for the city of Baltimore. There are murals on the wall of him everywhere. Like he means so, so much. And so it'd be really sad if he were to go anytime in the near future.
Yeah, it's not happening. There's no way. There's no way. That extension, like I said, they've talked about it. It's already in the works. It's already happening. I would imagine they're going to try to put an emphasis on it happening in the next couple of weeks ish.
Yeah.
Because again, you then have to you have to switch gears and go right into free agency and who they're going to go for those big ticket items, whether it's a pass rusher, whether it's an offensive lineman or a wide receiver or all three. I don't know. I don't know what DeCosta has planned, but the Ravens need some help across their entire roster. But Lamar, he's staying.
He's staying, and I know it was messy last time. I know it was a whole thing. I know there was a real possibility, and he mentioned wanting to. We're not in that situation. We're not in 2022. It's a completely different story. I think this time he knows what we're building. He knows that the team has kind of bet on him, bet all in on him. So I think he feels in control of the car in a way he didn't before.
Yep, definitely. And again, you don't talk about him being part of the head coach search, and then you're going to go, "Oh, just kidding. We're trading him to the Raiders."
Bye, Lamar. Going in. No.
Yeah, no. He is the
You think Lamar was
face.
the good? He could pick any team if he wanted
Yeah,
to.
he's the face of this organization. He's the focus of this organization, regardless of the fact they brought in Jesse Minter as a defensive-minded coach. It's all going to be about Lamar. You
It's
get
all
Lamar
about
cooking,
Lamar.
you get him the right help that he needs, both that offensive lineman, get some pass catchers besides Zay Flowers working. And yeah, but the bottom line is extension's coming. You heard it here. If you read everything, if you read at
You've
all,
had
you'll
it.
you'll know that it's going to be happening. But yeah, that's it. Roundtable Ravens
That's it.
episode number 11. We will be back next week. Maybe more details about Lamar Jackson. We will be talking more about free agents. We will be talking all about Ravens football and going from free agency quickly into the draft, where Billy will be. So hopefully, maybe we can get some like live stuff going on from there.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, Lamar State.
He's staying.